Hey everybody, I'm Steve Owens. I am a tournament director in the kayak space, I guess you should say. Uh, we are here with John House today of Real Heroes, which helps with support with Purple Heart Homes. The reason we're on here today is I met John and Cody just through our network of the community that we have, and they stepped in this year with Georgia and Tennessee Bass Nation as our title sponsors for our state championships. And throughout the season, we support them by bringing in a dollar per entry fee. Plus, our anglers have the opportunity to donate extra money as they sign up on Tourney X. And so, right now, I think we're at about, I don't know, pretty close to $2,000 in Tennessee, about $1,200 in Georgia. And so, we're just going to grow that as much as we can. We're talking to some area sponsors just to try to bring in some cash there. And but John and the guys, I think this is year number 2 of this event. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So they started with the Foothill Kayak Anglers last year on Lake Norman in North Carolina. It's a really good lake, known for a good healthy spotted bass population. Vinny and the Queen City guys fish there once, sometimes twice a year. The Hobie BOS has been up there a few times, and each time just a lot of good quality fish caught. And if you know anything about spotted bass, they're angry as much as they're hungry. So even when it gets kind of warm, they still like to bite. You just got to find them as usual. But this is the Real Heroes Lake Norman annual kayak bass fishing event benefiting the Purple Heart Homes. And I'm going to let John just describe to start off what Real Heroes is, and then what Purple Heart Homes is, and how they are conjoined together, and the reason that they exist, and who they're looking to benefit by what we get to do here. So, John, I appreciate you coming on. We've gotten to know each other just a little bit over the year. This year it seems like all everybody ever gets to do is text or email anymore. But it's good to see you face to face here and speak with you. And I look forward to being up there. I think I'll get up there. I'm trying to get up there Wednesday or Thursday to pre-fish just a little bit, but that never happens in my world. So I'll probably be rolling in Friday about lunchtime and just help you do some grunt work, and I'll get out Saturday and just do what I can. But appreciate you coming, appreciate you reaching out, and all that y'all done for us this year in Tennessee and Georgia. And so I'll just let you kind of take over and just talk about whatever you want to for a little bit here.
Yeah. So, well, to get started in the back history, I started tournament kayak fishing originally with Queen City. I think I'm in my 5th year now, 4th or 5th year. And, fast forward, I had never been on a kayak, never bass fished. I had a neighbor that was just like, I think we should get kayaks and do fishing. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And then I came across Queen City. And if you know Vinny, I just called him and I said, hey, man, I'm thinking about getting into kayak bass fishing. He said, it's only 4 fish. I said, you're right. It's only 4 fish. So kind of dove in head first and see where it took me. But fast forward to last year, I've just been kind of rolling with the punches with the tournament fishing. But fast forward to last year, I looked at my schedule and we had an off month. There wasn't a whole lot of anything happening in July. And I had this idea to put together a bass fishing tournament out of a kayak on Lake Norman, just to raise some money for some veterans. I didn't have a recipient at the time. I didn't really have much of a goal. I had a $1,500 goal, and it's just a way to kind of give back and still have fun fishing. And, it's the dead heat of summer here on Lake Norman in July. So it's just a way to kind of put it all together and have fun with a bunch of dudes and ladies. And one of the trails that I fished, you had mentioned earlier, was Foothills Kayak Anglers. And I ran it by Cody and Ashley. And I just said, hey, would you guys entertain helping me facilitate this charity event? I'd like to put together an event on Lake Norman, again, to raise money for veterans. And Cody had stepped up and he said, have you ever talked with Fenway? And I was just like, I don't know who Fenway is. No. Anyways, he ended up introducing myself and Fenway together, and we had coffee. At the time, Fenway was on the board of Purple Heart Homes, on the actual board. And I got to telling him a little bit about what I was wanting to do with the tournament. And he kind of elaborated on what Purple Heart Homes was and what they do for veterans. And, a little bit of back history about myself. My last name is House. I sell real estate and they help veterans with housing solutions. So I'm like, it's a win-win-win. So I said, that's a perfect recipient. They're based right here on the north end of the lake, in a town called Statesville, North Carolina. And I just thought that it would be a perfect fit. And with Fenway being on the board, he can kind of merge our conversations and introduce me to the right people to get that whole thing going. So we just hit the streets, man. I set a $1,500 goal. I said, let's do an event. This was in November of 23. I said, let's do an event the Saturday after the 4th of July and see what happens. And Fenway's been a very successful business owner for a number of years. I've been blessed in the real estate side of things. And we both just hit the streets and went out and just started talking to people, which is what we do. And everything just kind of started to roll. And our little $1,500 goal, we kept increasing our goal. So much so that it was growing so fast that I had this crazy idea. I was like, I'm going to turn this into a 501c3. I said, this is growing so fast that it just needs to be its own nonprofit. So I got with my attorney. We set up a 501c3. In the backside of everything, Purple Heart Homes and John and all those people over there kind of saw what we were doing and an opportunity here to continue to grow this with their relationships and resources. And so they actually, right before we had the event last July, they came to us and said, would you guys entertain being a actual official chapter of Purple Heart Homes rather than your own 501c3? The best thing that they said is you wouldn't have to worry about any of the taxes or the insurances or anything like that. You guys can just go out, have fun, talk to people, raise money for veterans, which is all we really care about. And then they can handle the nonprofit side of the things. So we thought that was a fantastic idea and kind of turned the reins over to them on that side of it. But again, just continue to raise funds. Ultimately, the event went off perfectly for being first year last July. We hosted a captain's dinner the night before the event. And at the captain's dinner, Purple Heart Homes had rented this massive outdoor tent, this party tent, had some cool fans in it, that kind of stuff. And so we had the captain's dinner. John Galena himself, the CEO of Purple Heart Homes at the time, he and his family are known for their barbecue. He had made, I don't even know how many pork shoulders, and we had a nice, very well thought of dinner, pork dinner, rolls, beans, all the fixings and drinks, and just went off perfectly. At the captain's dinner, we also have a silent auction that raised some additional funds. We did a 50-50 raffle, and something unique to last year is we were Purple Heart Homes was in the middle of shooting a extreme military makeover television show with Montel Williams, and that was kind of the last episode. Was they were kind of incorporating our Real Heroes event, Captain's Dinner, into that episode. So it was all cool how it all transpired. But at the end of the day, guys, I had initially a $1,500 goal, and we were able to stroke a check for $44,000 to Purple Heart Homes to go out and help veterans. So the kayak fishing community got behind it tenfold, and it was just amazing to see everybody's support. And I can't go without saying the biggest items that helped last year were, Wiley X donated well over $20,000 in sunglasses, and they're doing that again this year. And the grab bag is what Real Heroes event is known for. We did increase the entry fee. If you fished last year, it was $40 entry fee, and a lot of that was Foothills took us under their wing to run the event. Well, that was a points event for them, and their normal tournaments are $40 entries. I didn't feel it was appropriate to ask for more money on a points event. This year, we're kind of out on our own running it. I actually have a judging service that we have set up to judge the fish this year, but we did increase the entry fee to $100. But the grab bag, you'll see here, just the four main things. You got the Abu Garcia Zeta Reel. You got Wiley X sunglasses again. You get an event shirt and fish grips, and there's more in the bag that I don't know all the details of. But you got a value of over $350 in this grab bag, all for your $100 entry. So that's something unique to the Real Heroes event. I mean, there's plenty of other charity events out there that give you a grab bag, but the ROI on ours is just ridiculous in my opinion. But it wouldn't be possible without our amazing sponsors. And we have some great relationships with Abu and Plano and Berkeley. They've really blessed us this year with all of that. So, but that's the Real Heroes Captain's Dinner in a nutshell. And then fast forward to Saturday, you get out on the lake. We got a little bit later of a launch time just because we try to be respectful of veterans and people that may or may not fish on a weekly basis. The last thing I want is a veteran out there with an ailment, never been in a kayak, trying to launch in the dark. So we do 6:30 launch lines in on purpose. But that's just for a safety thing. We do have 3 safety boats out there for the event that they'll be, running up and down the lake, making sure everybody's good, handing out water if need be. And it's just a cool event. It's something that's unique, I guess, to Real Heroes in Lake Norman here. But it's just amazing how it's taken off and turned it into something extraordinary, if you will.
So. Yeah, what would be awesome, because I don't have a Zeta. I love tackle and stuff, and working for Dugout Bait and Tackle, I get a lot of good deals on stuff. But I got 2 Abus recently, guess last year, and those are 2 of the smoothest reels I own for the price. And I actually got to see those Zetas before they came out at ICAST. We did our purchase. That's where we would do our purchasing, like a lot of other people. But those the Zeta reels, those are phenomenal. Those are over $200. So that's going to be
heard great things about them.
Yeah, I mean it's just with which a lot of reels are good nowadays. Used to, like when I first started fishing, bass fishing, probably 2013, 2014 ish. I couldn't throw a bait caster, So I gave it to my buddy at work and let him tune it for me, and then I didn't touch it, And then finally, so now a lot of these reels, man, you just put the brakes on about half, set that tension, and you don't even have to touch it when it hits the water. And that's what the Abus are. I fling chatterbaits on one and buzzbait on the other. Super comfortable. That profile, I'd say it's probably about a 70 series profile, maybe, or maybe a 100. But dude, it's a freaking great one. And everybody knows Wally. Wally X classes are phenomenal. We used to do some work with them in our grassroots club a good while ago, but they've always been really supportive of everything. So, but yeah, you mentioned one of the key things that gets a lot of people, and a lot of people, not that they don't understand what all goes into it, but that Friday night deal is probably the most work you have to do in a tournament, is putting on a meet and greet kind of thing, especially, which I know you have some help with the people that like to do it, but we had a Yak Attack event, which hopefully we can bring Yak Attack in here next year, because they used to have a Heroes on the Water event every year. That's a couple of those little trophies and that bass fish I have there come from there. And Luther and those guys put on a phenomenal event. It went on for about 10 years, and I think we ended up with 208, 220 the last couple of years. And as you build this, people are going to know every year there's, these 5 or 6 things that are unique to this event, and whether that be the grab bag, the meal, the band that comes every year or whatever. And that's what Luther and them did with the Yak Attack one. And you had to hustle to hurry up and get online and sign up for that tournament. Exactly. Every Thursday that it came available, it would sell out, because they tried to cap it, and then it kept growing every year. But now where we're at, some years forward, what's really good is that, we have so many easy links to click to make donations, just, out of pocket. We're used to it with just all PayPal stuff. So that's something I've noticed about what you all have is it's something really easy to reach out and make a donation for our veterans. And like you said, it's a 501(c). I think that's correct.
Yes.
So if a person chooses to, then they're able to put that on their taxes, which I'm still working on, by the way, my taxes. So, but where exactly did you name the facility where we're having the meet and greet on Friday, the kickoff?
Yeah, so the meet and greet is actually right at Propart Homes facility in Statesville. It's listed in there. It's 755 Washington Street in Statesville. but they have a pretty large facility, and or Washington Avenue. There you go. They have a pretty large facility, large parking lot. So even if you're just coming into town and not going straight to your Airbnb or coming off the water after a little practice, there's plenty of parking there, where you'll be able to pull off to the side or whatnot, enjoy dinner, and then go to the Airbnb or hotel or however you're doing that. But it's a cool facility. And another thing that's unique about this event that we had a board meeting last week and confirmed is not only do you get to come to the event and you learn about Real Heroes, but you also learn a deeper dive into Purple Heart Homes and how that got started and what that's all about. But a big thing that Purple Heart Homes does is they provide tiny houses. They build and provide tiny houses for veterans in need. You got to go through the application process or whatnot, but they build them there on site. So we like to do a tour, a facility tour, and take groups around and show them the actual build process and how they go about getting these out to veterans and what they look like and all that stuff. So again, not only is it a fishing event, but you kind of learn about what Purple Heart Homes is, how many veterans they've helped over the years, what their mission is and all that. So it's just a great event to kind of pull it all together and, really showcase it to a different crowd that may or may not even know what Purple Heart Homes was, like myself. So.
Yeah. And so then when we're done fishing, we're going to Hot Shots Bar.
Yeah, so Hot Shots is a
Hot Shots there.
Yeah, there you go. Hot Shots is a sports pub, bar and grill here in Mooresville. 90% probably of the people fishing are going to be in a Mooresville area. You may be on the west side of Lake Denver, but you come across 150 and into Mooresville. So it's just a great location for it. Purple Heart Homes had a relationship with them. Actually, the owner of Hot Shots served with John and Dill with Purple Heart Homes. So it just kind of fit. They do have a fairly large parking lot. They have outdoor and indoor seating. I talked to Keelan over there. I believe we're going to have a menu that folks can order food when they come in off the water and that kind of stuff. Maybe a percentage of it comes back to us. I'm not exactly sure the fine details there yet, but it's pretty cool. Like I said, he's willing to step up and open up his facility and allow us to do that. That's also where you'll do obviously the awards, but the kayak raffle will be done there, and photo ops and all that kind of stuff with the winners. Another unique thing about this event that I'll kind of go into this year, those it may be a little redundant if you fished last year, but as of right now, we do have 68 registered anglers. The first 125 get one of those grab bags. As of right now, we've cash donations have already exceeded $39,000 pledged. We're on pace to beat the $44,000 of last year. We've taken in another $66,000 in goods that have been pledged or already received. Again, your goodie bag's got a value right now of roughly $370, all for your $100 entry fee. But a thing that's unique to the Real Heroes event, and like you said, people will start to learn this and continue to follow it based on this. Not only do we pay the top 5 overall, but we break it down. We have prize packs. Last year we had prize packs for top 5 civilians and top 5 veterans, because we really want to showcase the veterans as well. So when you register in on Tourney X, it specifically asks you if you're a veteran, and if you are, please select that box. What that does is as you finish, last year I want to say the winner, the top veteran, finished like 5th or 6th place. So it still allowed him to get the first place prize pack for being the top vet. So that was a fantastic.
Was it John House?
Yeah, they said I couldn't win my own event, but I was trying. But it's just a great event. But what we decided to do this year, so last year was just prize packs by our amazing sponsors for all 5 in both categories. This year we're compensating you as well. So the winner of both categories gets a payout of $750. Second place in both gets $200, and then 3rd, 4th, and 5th in both get $100. So you get your money back. But that's just a way to compensate the anglers for making the trip and hopefully incentivize more anglers to sign up. That beauty right there. So it's a good looking fish. So, but
Yeah, and
yeah,
so in your details, we have to have this identifier. We can print it or
there will
pick
be,
it up.
yeah, there will be an opportunity to print them out prior to the event by following the Facebook page, and or at the captain's dinner they'll be there. But yeah, ideally we want those, identifiers. I haven't been able to get in contact with Tintag to have one designed or anything like that. Just trying to keep the cost of the overall charity down. But we have those paper tags, and you can just tape them to your existing Tintag if you have a Tintag or whatnot. But so that's cool. As far as the raffle items, again, we're raffling off a Bonafide SS127. If you guys follow our social media accounts, you can see we're partnered with EcoX Gear speakers or waterproof speakers. We have some of their speakers to give away. We have gift cards, tackle, and more there. And then the silent auction items, a couple of the big items we have is a Bonafide P127. We have a Real Heroes branded PWR 129 with an XI3 on the nose. And that's got a minimum starting bid of $1. So that's something there that somebody's going to be able to pick up a great kayak with the motor and throw a battery in it and go fish. Howie's committed to 2 Newport motors there. We got Naqua and Lowrance on board, and so much more there. Another thing that we have, Purple Heart Homes is big with sponsors all over. One of the things that they received this year that they're allowing us to use in our event is a ground blind for hunting. It's got roughly a $4,000 value. So instead of putting that in the silent auction, we're actually going to have a raffle board at the event as well. We may start selling tickets sooner rather than later. But 200 squares, $20 a square is likely what they'll be. And you can go on and buy some squares at your chance at a $4,000 hunting blind. And it's nice. So that's something that's, not at every fishing event. And again, just all the trails that have stepped up this year, you guys and Vinny and CK and Foothills again, and all these trails have come on board and really helped promote this. It's just going to magnify it and make it hopefully blow up even more in the future. So really looking forward to it. So you kind of running down through there. Yeah, if you see any errors, just let me know. I did that myself.
Oh no, I was just looking at the anglers, just giving the angler just a little scroll down through there, looking at everybody that'll finish ahead of me. So.
Yeah, there you go. So one thing we did last year with a month ago before the event, and I just opened it up yesterday for the same thing, is if you scroll all the way to the bottom of those boxes where you select your shirt size and if you're a veteran and all these things, there's an option to ship your goodie bag. There's a $25 flat rate shipping. It's just $25 if you want it shipped. So even if you're out there in Oklahoma right now and you're watching this and you say, hey man, I would love to support this and grab one of these grab bags, but there's zero chance I'm gonna make it to Lake Norman in July. You can still register. You check that shipping box there, and then I will reach out after the event and get a mailing address for you and just mail you out your swag bag. So it's just another way to continue to raise funds. Last year, I want to say we had roughly 130 registered for the event, and probably 85 actually fished it. So you can see, probably had 40 or 50 there that were in different states that just wanted to support the cause. So something.
Yeah, that's something you'd mentioned, and not that I do a lot in the boat world, but we have people in our grassroots kayak series that literally haven't fished a kayak event with us, but they pay dues every year just to get their little prize and to give us money to use in our grassroots kayak series. So that's pretty neat. That and what you just mentioned. So essentially, for $25, you can get a $230 reel. What those Wally X's are at least 150 if they're plastic lenses. If they're glass, they're 200 plus, right?
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure which model they sent this year, but last year they were great glasses, and I still wear them. But I'm not exactly sure what we have in stock this year, but I'm sure they're great.
Yeah, and so that and were you motorized last year?
We were, yes, sir.
Okay.
So again, it was it was just starting to come down the rabbit hole here in the Carolinas as far as potential, and just with the potential of having a disabled vet or somebody out there that needed to have a motor kayak, we just went ahead and allowed it.
All right. You got any camera boats out or any media stuff going on that you know of right now, or?
Other than the 3 safety boats, we don't have any camera boats, like with Hobie and Steve and all those. We don't have anything like
Mhm.
that right now. Obviously, if you're listening to this and that's your forte, I would be more than happy to entertain that. Now, I will say um, there's a potential that participants of the event and those at the captain's dinner have a chance at being on national television. There's some things that's going on with Purple Heart Homes, and I don't want to dive into it because I don't know right now what's all public and whatnot. But there's some shooting, or some not shooting, but filming going on for some behind the scenes stuff. That if that's a thing and it happens at the captain's dinner, then more than welcome to jump in front of the camera and be a part of it. So I
Yeah,
just tell
and
you
I'll go ahead and
a couple times.
yeah, I'll save this and make sure I put it on what we share in our local clubs, because I think let's see, let me check my calendar here. July 12th. We have a Tennessee Bass Nation in Gunnersville, but I'll be up there with you guys, obviously. So other than that, the Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
there's no conflicts really there. So, but as you mentioned, Vinny Ferreri, who helps with everything that comes through. There is. Let me get this tab shared instead. There we go. So as you guys can see, there's a launch list that you got to use for this. So if you're going to get up and practice, and I'm assuming you all are treating this like most other events. You don't during practice you don't have to launch from a legal ramp as long as you are legal. But during the event, you have to use one of these purple stars
Correct.
here on
Yes.
Lake Norman. So make sure you're going to look. Make sure you guys look at that if you're out practicing. Which
Yep.
again, you have it you have it listed easily up here somewhere. So that is
Yeah.
nobody's going to miss that. I just wanted to bring. I think that's about the only thing in your event details that we really hadn't covered, and I just saw that, so I figured I'd throw that up there. So
Yeah. And I mean, in the attachments, I'm probably the only weirdo that actually clicks on them, but there are, some attachments in the Tourney X that you can click. That's, the liability waiver or maybe tournament rules or anything like that. That was just kind of compiled with 2 or 3 different trails. Vinny gave me access to some of his stuff, and I ran it by PHH just to make sure that our bases are covered. But it's just like any other tournament. You take the risk of getting in a kayak on a body of water and pray that you're just out there having fun and nothing occurs. But just kind of name of the game.
yeah, that's it, man. It's well, and when we started using them in the Bassmaster series, Vinny's used them for years, and it's great because there's no gray area, there's no confusion. You
Yep.
don't accidentally get on private property or a marina. And we have to update these from time to time. So we expect the angler to reach out to us if there's a gate on it now. But it just helps. It helps with everything. So you're as a tournament director, you're spending your day judging fish or handling, on the water issues versus having to, make certain that everybody knows what's what. And we've had anglers, some don't like it because, they feel like, we did the work for somebody, but I don't understand how giving someone a launch point um, is anything that can benefit one over the other because everybody has them. But what we hear from people from out of state is it's great because
Yeah.
if you're coming in from Oklahoma, I mean, now you get to get out and have fun versus driving around trying to search for these ramps. And so
Exactly.
they're a little task heavy to get them built, but they're definitely worth it. We share all of those across the country too, us TDs. So
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good thing
Yeah.
to
Vinny
have
was
there.
great with helping us set that up. And then one of the board members, Wes Richardson, just kind of put his touches on there to make it look a little better than the Word document that I had. So,
Yeah. Well, man, this is great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Was excited from the get go when Wes reached out. Just hopefully, like you mentioned, we can just continue to grow it. And the main benefit being that we get money to help do what the purpose of the cause is, which is to help people who give everything. Like you said, we're patriots. We're not veterans, but we're patriots, and
Exactly.
um, seeing this kind of stuff. Just to share, just a quick brief story. These kind of things are needed as well because kayaking had hit a really really big peak during COVID. Money's getting tighter, so travel is out of the question for a lot of people. We don't have as much time off from work as we used to. So when you come to things like this, I guarantee you're just going to be fed in your spirit and your heart so much. Like the Yak Attack events, you just get to listen to how kayaking has helped people overcome things. We all know what it feels like to just be out there in solitude by yourself with the Lord or whatever. But coming to these events like this here, fishing is I won't even say secondary. It's way down the list because there's so
Mhm.
much more that you're going to get from being here. And I'm rambling on because I'm getting excited, but I love people and I enjoy being around people I don't know and getting to know them, and then getting to show appreciation, for a demographic of people that might not get a pat on the back that they deserve, when they come back home, or maybe now they've made it through their life where they can receive a debt of gratitude, and I
Mhm.
just look forward to being a part of that. So,
Well, to touch on that, a couple things, it's more than just a donation and a fishing event. So, again, the Captain Center, I keep going back to the Captain Center because that's really the main show other than fishing.
yeah.
But, just for example, we'll have a guest speaker there, and I'll just leave that. Wes might put something on Facebook as we get closer, but we'll have a guest speaker there, and national anthem will be sung by a country singer. So it'll be pretty cool event. And then, so Real Heroes board is myself, Fenway Rao, and, Russell, and then Wes Richardson. Wes and Russell are both veterans. And they actually did last year as we started to grow this event. They actually shot something with the news station about how kayak fishing has helped them from the veteran side in a sense of not really comfort, but healing, if you will. And they kind of ran a whole story on that. And me personally, I have no idea what they saw over there. Nor do I really want to get in a conversation about it. But if we can take a kayak fishing event and help provide healing for those that may be struggling, they already dive into the outdoor space, for that sense of healing or safety or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
So if we can do that on the kayak fishing side and allow them to heal through a Real Heroes event and give back to other veterans in need, I just think that it's kind of a win-win. Like I said,
It
I'm not a
is.
veteran.
Yeah.
I'm just a dude with an idea, and just been blessed with the people that we have in place around me. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, and if you don't have anything else to add, we'll let the people go. And I appreciate
yeah.
you reaching out to get this going. As you mentioned, we're almost at 70. What
Mhm.
I've experienced at the grassroots level, Bass Nation and Bassmaster, the week of, because a lot of us, there's times we need that extra paycheck before the
Exactly.
event, and so your registration closes when the Friday of the
Registration,
event.
yeah. So registration would likely close the Friday before the event.
Oh,
Now, what
so a
I
week
will say
before.
is the
Okay.
T-shirts we have to have those turned in the order by the 27th of June. We
Okay.
will go ahead and just get 10
Extras.
large, 10 extra large, whatever. So you may not get your appropriate size if you wait till last minute to register, and there's still grab bags available. Um, Outside of the 125, if we do hit the 125 and more people register, I can't guarantee that there will be a shirt. We will also have some Real Heroes branded hats at the event for a donation. You can pick up a hat.
Yeah, I
But
lost
just
mine on Gunnersville when I flipped, so I had that purple
yeah,
one I made,
yeah.
Yeah,
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 the real or the Probar home one. Yeah, so
yeah,
they're cool hats. They're Richardson hat, 6 panel. I mean, they're
uh-huh,
they're great hats. Everybody loves them.
yeah.
So, but yeah, man. Well, again, I appreciate you. allowing me to come on tonight and talk to everybody. And if there's any questions, feel free to follow the Real Heroes page on Facebook. That's probably our best way of communication. Otherwise, my contact information is in TourneyX. When you search Real Heroes, the event will pop up. But I can't go on without saying, everything we do at Real Heroes is for the veterans, everything. So if you see, Wes or Fenway or myself out there trying to promote this, we all have full-time gigs everywhere else. Wes is all state. Fenway owns his own plumbing store. I'm a real estate agent. So none of this is coming to our pocket. We're just literally out there promoting this for our veterans and helping our homes provide solutions for veterans in need.
Well, we appreciate it,
Yeah, brother.
John. And I think that's all I can come up with. Again,
All right.
I'm a rookie at these live streams. I'm used to doing a captain's meeting where I'm just spitting information out, but I think we did a pretty good job. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking down the list. We got a lot of really good people that are coming, and so I'm going to get this out to the rest of our community, and hopefully we can get it up there over that 125. But yeah, we appreciate you.
Little side note about your little side note about the competition there. If you scroll down through there far enough, you'll see old Vinny himself is going to jump back in the
I saw it.
So,
yep.
Yeah, so we'll have to bust his chops a little bit.
Yeah, we were just talking about him this weekend. Me and Nick Dyer just talking about all the stuff we all have going on, and Vinny, with his daughter's travel ball and everything.
Yeah.
It's great to see him get to continue to keep those series going, but I know it's going to be nice for him to get out to fish. He's got his native Power Hour tournament on Guntersville this coming Saturday. So
nice. I missed it on Norman.
Yeah,
I would have loved to fish it on Norman. With my schedule, I just couldn't. But anyway,
yeah,
cool, man. Well, I appreciate it. I know it's Monday night, so I appreciate you letting me jump on. And if you think of anything, or if anybody that's on your following there has any questions, feel free to reach out.
All right. Well, I sent you a text about some identifier cards, so just get back with me on that, and then we'll get that hammered out tomorrow.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Head over to TourneyX to sign up for what is the second event of an annual event that we hope to continue for a long, long time. So that's the Real Heroes Lake Norman Annual Kayak Bass Fishing Event. As he mentioned, this is to help fund what they do with the Purple Heart Home. So y'all be safe. Reach out to us if you got any kind of questions whatsoever, and we'll get you taken care of. So thank you, guys. And John, you have a good rest of your week.
All right. You too, buddy. Thank you.
See you. You're welcome. Bye-bye.